Hello, Victoria. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So, what brings you in today?
So I just want to come in because I'm about to graduate and
Mhm.
I need my resume looked over to make sure it's ready to go.
Okay. What's your major?
Communications.
All right. And what do you want to do with that?
I don't know. I'm just kind of like going through my options still. There's a couple of different things that I've thought about, but
Hmm.
nothing like stable.
Okay. Have you done any internship?
Yeah, I did actually. I did one internship last semester with like CBS News in New York,
Okay.
like doing like radio stuff and
Hmm.
like on the scene experiences. But other than that, that was basically it.
And how was that experience for you?
It was really nice. Like it really gave me the experience I needed.
Hmm.
So like being like on the scene, actually working in the different departments of the radio and like seeing how things are operated,
Hmm.
it was an extremely hands-on experience for me.
Okay. And would you see yourself working at CVS?
Possibly.
Okay. So let me take a look at your resume then.
Okay, I brought an electronic copy of it. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, that's
Just
perfect. All right. So just place this here, and then we'll go over everything.
okay.
All right. So I noticed one thing about your resume is the formatting. So you see how your name on top is like a little centered, but then like your address is completely all to the right.
Okay.
So you'd want to make that change,
Okay.
and then we'll move on from there. So your objective is to use my knowledge of my prior leadership positions to relate, educate, and inspire future generations who wish to pursue an education at four-year institutions. Okay, so um, being in career services, we like to recommend the most we can to students.
Mhm.
Um, So for objectives, you it should be at least one sentence, and it should be a directive of what you're looking for.
Okay. So it should be like more direct to like the
Hmm.
position I want.
Right. So
Okay.
if you were looking for an internship opportunity or a part time or full time, then you would want to put like seeking part time opportunities, seeking full time opportunities, or seeking internship opportunities within the field of communications with the focus on. Do you have a focus?
I would say just like radio or post production.
Okay. So you can write that, and then in the field of
Okay.
radio news, then your education. So you have a minor in criminal justice. Well, why don't we talk about that a little bit?
Um,
What sparked that interest then?
honestly, I just took one class and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Hmm.
I don't know, just like I like the professors and stuff like that, and if we could to kind of have that extra experience. And also, a way I thought about it from like a journalism perspective was if
Hmm.
I did like crime reporting and wrote like crime articles and stories, I could
Hmm.
be more familiar like with the jargon and the terminology, so I'd
Okay.
be more like well equipped. So
Nice.
that's the way I looked at it.
And have you talked to your professors about like going through that path?
Not really,
Hmm.
but I just kind of learned about it and I was like, oh, well, this is interesting, and just go
Hmm.
from there.
Okay. And then your GPA is really good. So I see that you've done the radio station at the school,
Yes.
and you started in 2013. Okay, how many shows have you done roughly?
I've done several, like in between, like maybe like 5 or 6,
Mhm.
just like with other students, and like some that I've created on my own.
Mhm.
But it's very sporadic.
Right. And was there one highlight show that you like was your best?
Yeah. I just kind of did like a talk, like kind of like current events talk kind of thing when like
Mhm.
pop culture and like music, but that was it.
Okay.
That was like
And
what I was really interested in.
um, about all the shows that you've done, what was geared with the population?
I would say like the current events because like we would talk about like on campus stuff. Then like I had a show. It was kind of like a fangirl kind of show. Like when we
Hmm.
discussed like shows that we watch and like artists that we watch and stuff like that. We just kind of like or because we can kind of catch up on like say like we were watching like a show.
Hmm.
I don't know, I can't think of the reality show at the time that we were really talking about,
Right.
but we would just kind of like talk about it and kind of react to the show and what we thought about it, and
Hmm.
it was pretty cool.
And then how have you gained connections from being in the radio station?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The professor who was the advisor was the
Hmm.
one who worked at CBS.
Okay.
So, when it came time for me needing an internship, I asked him, I was like, hey, I'm really looking for an internship. And then he
Hmm.
recommended me. And then from there, I got two rounds of interviews, and they accepted me.
How was that interview process for you?
It was over the phone,
Mhm.
so I really didn't get like the anxiety of like being in person because I don't think they were like I didn't have to go all the way to New York for it. Let's
Right.
just say that.
Mhm.
So it wasn't too bad. I was nervous, but I was because I didn't know how many people I was like competing against for the position.
Mhm.
But it was a really good experience.
Okay.
So I was happy I got it. So obviously,
So it says that you're from Central Jersey,
yes.
um, and you did your internship in New York. Do you see yourself being in New York for after graduation?
Possibly because that's kind of like where the main like stations are, like up
Mhm.
closer to like the city or like go somewhere in a city area and move over there.
Mhm.
So that'd be ideal because I don't think I'm gonna find very much near Central Jersey in the middle of nowhere.
So do you see if you go that route and staying in the city or staying up in North Jersey, do you foresee any transitional problems that will
um,
occur?
Possibly if I have to, move out on my own, it's gonna
Hmm.
be hard. Being away from my family is gonna be hard for me because I'm very close with my family and my friends.
Okay.
Um, but and then moving to the city is gonna be different because I live in like a suburban area,
Hmm.
and I'm so used to the comfort of living in like a suburban area,
Right.
not so like urban city. So it'll be different, but it's a learning process.
Okay. And then, is there any fear behind that, or is it like, would you be ready to just jump and get that transition going?
Oh, there definitely be fear, but I just kind of have to push through and use the support I can to
Hmm.
make it happen.
Okay. So you mentioned support. So do you have a very strong support system?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And who would you say would be in that support system?
My family, my friends, basically.
Okay. And then you always count on them
Oh
to
yeah,
get better.
of course.
Okay. So move on here. And you're part of a sorority.
Yes.
And so Omega Phi Chi Multicultural Sorority. So what is that sorority about?
So that sorority is like it's a multicultural sorority, so it's
Mhm.
very inclusive to all races and regardless of who you are, very inclusive to those women.
Mhm.
They're really big on women empowerment and being very professional. So that was something I really wanted to be a part of. And when I met sisters, like you could see how much they cared.
Mhm.
So I was so encouraged to join, and of course, like as I got to know them more, I was like, I think I want to take part in becoming a sister.
Mhm.
Um, and then from there, like I built so many networks and learned a lot about myself going through my process and also becoming a sister.
Right.
This was also like a really good learning experience, especially like with time management,
Mhm.
because like there's being a part of a Greek organization is extremely busy. Like it really is a huge time management skill that you need. Going to different events and doing own things for your chapter, running events. So it's been a great learning experience. And I love it.
Right. And then would you say that has been the most impactful of your career in college?
Yeah, I would say so.
Do you want to go into depth with that of how it's been?
I would guess like meeting more other women, similar to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, we didn't have Greek life on campus really, so I was a part of like a big movement with that, bringing Greek life to campus. It's kind of like considering
Mm-hmm.
myself like a student leader.
Right.
And wanting to be a part of that process and seeing how much it's impacted other students and wanting to join Greek life and being able to see the benefits of Greek life
Mm-hmm.
and kind of see past any stigmas people have.
Okay. And it says that you held positions and also done multiple events. So what's one event that stood out to you the most?
One event that stood out to me the most. We do a lot of community service
Mm-hmm.
with our organization, like nationally, and then like in the chapters in the area. It's called like the Biannual Lunch Project.
Mm-hmm.
And after we do that, like we pack the bags, and it's a really nice time to like hang out with sisters. And then we go to like Newark Penn Station and we like distribute the bags of lunch
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So it's like a really empowering moment just to humble yourself and give back to others who need it. And
Right.
being able to be unified as an organization and do that just shows how much improvement and help you're doing to others.
That's good. It's good to hear stuff like that. You were also part of Campus Activity Board. So was this was prior to you joining a sorority?
Yes.
Um, did you feel like there was you had leadership there, or you ultimately felt leadership when you were joined your sorority?
So that was like the first thing I joined when I was like came to college, like I
Mhm.
was very like to myself, like in a bubble. I was like, I'm just gonna stay in my dorm, like.
Mhm.
And then like I met a lot of people who were involved in campus activities board and the director, and they were like really encouraging for me to join. And that's kind of like what stemmed my interest in like wanting to bring another organization, being a part of different
Mhm.
positions on campus.
Okay. And then we talked about your internship, and then you have a lot of skills. So your resume is really good in the sense of having like everything structured out.
Okay.
Um, One thing that's missing here is work experience. So besides your internship, have you worked anywhere else?
Yeah, yeah, I have.
Okay. And where have you worked prior?
I've worked as a sales associate, like in
Okay.
retail jobs, basically.
All right. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, I am not as much because I'm kind of focused on like my schoolwork,
Hmm.
but just here and there. But like I was under the impression that like you had to put things that were more geared towards like your fields,
Hmm.
like keeping it relevant.
Right. That is true. Although when you have more stuff on your resume, so like your work experience, um, that filters out a lot of skills that you can be implemented within your field.
Okay.
So being a sales representative, you have a lot of customer service skills. Do you have any examples of other skills that you acquired?
Working through like a point of sale system, basically like opening and closing a store,
Hmm.
working with difficult situations and kind of problem solving different
Hmm.
things that can occur that are very like unexpected.
Hmm.
Um, that's it basically, and just like having knowledge of like the inventory you're selling and things like that.
So do you feel like the skills that you just mentioned would be geared towards your field?
Yeah, I would say so, and I think like customer service skills
Hmm.
could be considered universal.
Right. So maybe you would want to add that onto your resume.
Okay.
Um, and then after that, do you plan on going to grad school?
Um,
Because you mentioned that you were going to graduate this May.
Yeah, it's crossed my mind, but it kind of really depends on the job and where I want to.
Hmm.
I don't know where I'd start if I wanted to do grad school. I don't know what I'd major in
Mm.
or whatever.
Has that interest popped in your head before? Like you said it has, but like has any field of preference ever popped up?
I don't really know. Like I don't know. Think about like all the different things I do.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's just like the financial part of it that's kind of has me hesitant.
Hmm. So do you feel if the financial situation wasn't a factor, you would definitely go out for it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And then what is your end goal? Like you graduate, like you wake up tomorrow, you're about to walk that stage, and where do you see yourself going after that?
Having money and a job. Maybe working in a place like CBS, being like
Hmm.
a producer or something like that. I think that'd be like my ideal goal.
Okay. And then what do you feel the steps you have to take are?
Just applying to jobs, networking with everybody I can
Hmm.
to make that happen. That's about it.
Okay. Have you started applying for jobs?
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, here and there.
Has it been CBS or has it been other radio stations?
I've been just applying to where I can, just
Okay.
like in the area, like local stations.
Hmm.
Nowhere like out of state yet, because I want to try to stay local if I can.
Right. Not if you look in the right places. So like you said, you are looking locally and you're not looking out of state. Um,
Hmm.
Maybe if you push forward and have those connections out of state from your professor, if he knows anybody,
Okay.
maybe that will land you something closer.
Yeah.
But that's a thought.
No, yeah, absolutely. I'll reach out.
Hmm. Well, if there's anything other questions, you have my email, you have my card. So,
Okay.
all
Thank
right, no
you.
problem.